Here's the time cue. 1, 2, 3.
What was the 1, 2, 3?
Now we have 2 claps. 1 clap. 1, 2, 3.
That was
You're
one.
supposed to clap with me.
That was
2
one?
claps in 1.
Oh, simultaneously?
It's too late now.
You want to try again?
No, I wanted to, Adam. I wanted us to do it at the same time, but you're not a supporting brother. Thank you for joining us. We are back. We are finally back, and we're going to be back for a long time now. I don't know how long we're going to be, but we'll just... We think that we'll be back for a while, so we're going to see. We have some great stuff coming up. This episode, we have our first trip with our first special guest, Stefan Smith, who is one of my friends. He's a referee in the professional wrestling business, and I've known him 10 years now, probably. Hopefully I didn't mess up the sound on our microphones there, which looks like I did, but what are you going to do? You can't win them all the time. So Stefan, myself, and the little brother Ralph decided to go for a trip to see the largest waterfall in Maryland. Now, I know Maryland's not that large of a state. It's not that big of a state. And actually, it's shaped very weird. But this waterfall is the largest waterfall in Maryland. And we are bound and determined to get you footage of that waterfall. That's how serious we are about our business. Y'all are going to enjoy that video, but you still got 4 episodes because this episode is just us in a car talking. So enjoy that.
Yeah.
This episode's more than that. I mean, didn't I give you any advice or anything?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was blank.
You forgot. We planned these. We really planned these, and we try to game plan and talk about what we're gonna do. And then he don't even pay attention. He don't even remember.
Do you know what the best advice I've ever gotten?
What's that?
You be careful with those inbreeders.
Wear a condom.
It's good advice. Not
Yeah.
as good as my advice, but pretty good advice. I thought my advice was better, but that's pretty good advice. I'd probably say you should stick with that advice. Wear a condom. Welcome to Went for a Walk, Got Lost. Today we have a special guest with us. His name is
Stefan.
What? Stefan what? You want to put your last name out there to the internet or not? Nah. So we'll go along for the ride and we'll do our usual thing. Today we're going to try and see if we can find a waterfall. The largest waterfall in Maryland. How do you feel about that, Stefan? You ever seen a waterfall or what?
I ain't never seen no waterfall a day in my life, but I'm about to today.
That's a good end right there. I have had surgery before. I've only had surgery one time in my life. Have you ever had surgery?
No.
Well, during our ride, Stefan and I decided to have a little bit of a conversation about having surgery and then going under and what the experience is like going under. Have you ever went under? You've been passed out before, right?
I've been passed out, yes.
Kind of like that where you lose time?
Yep.
That's pretty much what it feels like. You lose a lot of time. But here's our conversation talking about it.
They like give you like the numbing things. So she gave me like 2, and then I wasn't out. I was just watching and asking them questions, and then she just took out 3 and just pumped them all in at the same time. And then I was gone. It's like, Jesus Christ. She just pumped 3.
How long did it take for you to go? You were out like...
As soon as she popped those other 3 in there, I was just out. Like, and then I just wake up and the nurse is just like, here's some water. I'm like, I don't know. Like, where am I? What's going on?
Yeah, they did the nerve blocker first, and I don't remember exactly how it went, but I remember my arm was twitching, and they said that was like a normal thing. Yeah. Because I guess they were finding the nerves. And then like it would twitch whenever they put the needle in. And then they put the mask on me and were like, just count down from 10 backwards, and we'll see if you can get to 4. And I was like, I'm gonna get to 4. I'm totally getting to 4. And I got to like 7, and was out. Next thing I heard was like the doctors, and I couldn't even open my eyes. It was weird because I couldn't open my eyes, but I could hear them for like a minute or two first. And they were all like, people were just walking around and shit. It wasn't during the surgery, but I felt like I could remember back to the surgery. I felt like I could, but I didn't. They weren't like real memories. They were just, for some reason, I felt like I could remember them talking while they were in there. But I don't know if that was like a subconscious. Maybe I did hear them and I wasn't like completely done out, or maybe my mind was just playing tricks on me, trying to justify this lost block of time.
I mean, it's not unrealistic that you could have came out of anesthesia just a little bit and remembered that, and then as soon as they saw your vitals start to go up, they just put you right back
a little bit more. Yeah.
I mean, that's what the person is there for, to watch your vital signs, and if they see it start to rise, they just bring them back down again.
Keep that bitch down. He's starting to wake up.
Yeah. But like my entire surgery time is just a gap in memory.
Just gone.
Like, don't know. Like, it's not there. It doesn't exist.
That's scary.
It is.
It's scary. Do you think that's what it's like to die? Do you think like if you die, you get that, or do you think that you'll your consciousness will go? Well, we do the big shit on here on Went for a Walk, Got Lost. We cover the important questions.
Death. Death.
Nothing we've never talked about before anyway. Do you believe in reincarnation? Live multiple lives? Do you want to die?
It does not say that.
Why did you say, do you want to die?
Do you want to die?
Oh. Do you believe in reincarnation?
No.
What do you believe?
I believe you can just die. I think you just die. You're just dead out there.
I think you can just die. I think you're just dead. When you're dead, you die. But what does dead mean? It means you're not there. You're dead. You're starting to rot. What do you mean? Your organs ain't working no more. So we have a little bit of a conversation about reincarnation. And
but I think maybe that's probably how death is. It's like you have whatever memories you have before you die, and then it's just gone.
So do you think that you live multiple lives in the past? I've heard people say that, and they justified it by like thinking about like your ancestors, and they are passing their lineage on, and some of their subconscious memories are being passed on to you. It's like a cat. Well, think about like a cat has their instincts to do cat shit. People have their instincts to do people shit, and there's things in your subconscious that do come up that probably would have never been came up had you not experienced it. Because there's different experiences that you can have that bring up different types of experiences in your mind and how you handle it as compared to how somebody else handles it. So there are little things that are passed on, and there are memories that are passed on, like the natural fear of animals that can kill you, the natural fear of heights, the natural fear, those are things that, but you would think that they are just things that you should know.
It's just the ability to
but they are memories. Because if you didn't have those types of memories and you didn't learn them and you didn't bring them back up from your subconscious as a child, you wouldn't have it.
So it's just like things that are just kind of like hard coded into our DNA.
Right. But how much of it is it? Well,
I mean, think about it this way: it's like your DNA is going to determine like how your brain and everything else forms.
Right.
So it's not far fetched to believe that if me and whoever my partner is, if we're combining our DNA to create a child, that some of what makes my brain, and what makes their brain is going to create, something similar to both of us.
Right.
Not just in look, but in attitude and demeanor and how they handle certain situations.
Exactly. And that's the weird thing.
And it's weird because we'll have had the capacity to grow beyond that, but we also remember when we were that person.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well now how do I handle this person who was me when I was at that same point in my life?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Like what can I do differently in this situation that maybe my parents didn't do? Because honestly, at the end of the day, like you're just seeing a version of yourself in front of you.
Right. And that's like the weird thing about that really makes me think about that type of stuff was my aunt has a green card or visa, some type of a visa of my grandfather, on my mom's side, whenever he came to America from Canada. So he lived on the reservation, the Native American reservation in Canada, and he had a work visa coming in, and his race was red, which is
very
great. You know, it's like just red, not native, not Indian. Because even then, like I thought they called them Indians. I didn't know they're red. They're red people.
They're red. Oh wow.
They're red people.
All right.
So so it was red, but like his picture and my picture when I'm 18, I look really, really similar. His signature on that paper looks like my signature. The way that he writes his R's, I write my R's very similar to the way. It's not the best signature or handwriting at all.
You recognize
but I recognize that my handwriting looks very similar to that, which is weird.
Okay. So I mean,
and he was dead before I was born, so it's like, you know,
I'd imagine he's like long since dead, right?
Exactly. But there's something that could have been encoded in that.
I mean, if he's like your direct grandfather, then like
on the mother side,
something of that is passed down because your mom is just a mashup of your grandfather and mom, and
exactly.
It could just skip a generation. So I think if we ever unpack like someone's DNA, it's like there's probably just a lot of stuff that's just in there that we just don't even realize.
Exactly.
But that's pretty interesting. I never thought it was like that. Like I don't really have like a comparison for like my dad because apparently he was an orphan. I didn't know that. Well, like not necessarily an orphan, but like his mom couldn't take care of him, so she gave him to my grandmother, who was just a person that she probably knew at the time in North Carolina. So that she raised him, and I just don't know that part of the family. Like we met them the day my dad's funeral was happening. I'm just like, who's this old lady who won't say hello to me?
Why wouldn't she say hello?
She's never liked my mom. For some
she
reason.
Probably saw you and her mom.
Yeah, and
mom and you.
My mom's like, hey, that's your grandmother. I'm like, this old lady? and then she just came across as cold and mean. And I was like, okay. That's cool. That's my grandmother. Cool.
I guess that's cool.
That's cool, man. But like that part, like I'll never know. Like my dad got cancer, and it's like my mom's like, oh, I think it ran on his side, but we don't know.
What kind of cancer did he have?
He had bone cancer.
Bone cancer?
Yeah. There's just so much about him that is just a mystery.
Is that hereditary, or how does one get
I guess
cancer?
Like you can have like a what do I want to call it? You can be predisposed to developing cancer. Like your body could be like, so say like genetically your body could be like predisposed to developing tumors and developing certain types of tumors.
Right.
And that could be something that's genetically passed on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you are already predisposed to being able to get cancer or have cancer, then if you're not dieting properly and you are eating these types of foods
so
that
you bacon constantly,
you make it like more likely that you're going to get it. You're going to get cancer.
Absolutely. So like that kind of stuff, like in talking about genetics, it's like I don't know what I should really avoid.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
none of us do.
Like should I avoid bacon, or
do you avoid bacon, or do you avoid, because you got trans fats, and then you have different types of fats that you could have.
Yeah.
But if you're eating a lot of carbohydrates with it and a lot of unnatural foods,
so should I just go
with
vegan?
the grains? I mean, what?
Am I young enough to
there's
reverse
not like
this?
Well, there's not like a human diet. There's not like a proper human diet. It's all just what works for one doesn't work for others.
Well, I don't know.
Stefan is having a conversation while being emotionally invested in his soccer game.
Because, I'm a man who can do both.
Get you a man who can do both.
Hey, girl, hey. Nah, but, Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it just come down to that we're Satan's abomination?
That's what it comes down to.
We're Satan's abomination, so we don't have an actual diet or anything that's specific to us.
Exactly. We're not carnivores, we're omnivores, and we've trained dogs to be omnivores too. Poor things. Poor things.
We don't know who we are because we're Satan's abomination.
Right. There is no, because so many different people come from different climates. Speak up a little bit. Everyone's a bunch of mutts anyway. Speak up a little bit.
Hey, you better leave me alone. I ain't gotta conform to your audio levels. This ain't my podcast.
Now it's not a podcast, bitch. No. I'm horrendous at soccer. That wasn't a sport that I played growing up. Did you play soccer growing up?
No.
I was never really that big of a fan of soccer.
Why?
I didn't really get into it. I didn't really get into hockey, and I wasn't really into basketball. But out of those three, I would say basketball was the most interesting to me because it was more fast-paced. Soccer was not as fast-paced, and they don't score as much. Like they can end in a draw, 0-0, and that type of stuff. It never really tickled my fancy. I never really got into it. But I do remember playing soccer when I was younger, and I was not very good. I did not have any endurance. I was much larger than all the other kids. I should have been a goalie, but I didn't know the positions of soccer, and I didn't know how the things worked. Come this way. Yeah. I just want to keep you in frame. But anyway, so we have a little bit of a conversation because while we're driving, of course, Stefan has soccer playing as we go. So he's being entertained while we entertain each other.
Uh-oh. Him and Pep are getting into it.
Uh-oh.
The one guy.
And Pepper?
Uh-oh. We got some drama on the sideline.
Something's about to happen.
No, because so Manchester City is like one of the star players is Sergio Aguero, and like he's like a prolific scorer for Manchester City, and always started, and then Pep Guardiola came in, and now he's not always the main guy.
So they're on the same team.
Yeah. Well, so Pep Guardiola is the manager.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a Shaq Kobe type thing where they're on the same team, but they gotta coexist.
No, it's just like Guardiola will just change the system and take Aguero out, and Aguero just gets hot about it because he's like, dude,
we're doing good.
Like we're doing well, like. And I think that's part of the spat on the sideline. He's like, why are you taking me out? Because he can still play. He feels he can still contribute. But Guardiola's like, no, motherfucker, we're going to change the system up. And yeah,
sometimes you have to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and they just get into it. It's probably nothing personal. It's probably personal.
It's right. It's a game, man.
It's a game.
Like
you want to play.
Soccer used to kick my ass in high school. I was not good at soccer at all.
You gotta run, boy.
I should have been a goalie. I should have been a goalie. I totally didn't. I didn't play right.
So, I mean, I could have been talking to former U.S. goalkeeper, potential U.S. goalkeeper of the men's national team.
Right.
Like Ron Hicks here.
What could have been?
You could have taken us to World Cups and Copa Americas.
Right.
And
I don't even know any of that.
These are world-class tournaments.
Speaking another language.
The World Cup is the World Cup. It's the world. It's the world competing.
It's the actual World Cup.
Yeah.
Take my shirt off. I don't think so. We made it after 3 hours and 15 minutes on the road. We stopped at Walmart because Honky Boy over here had to get some zebra cakes.
Don't you put that on me.
But now we're going to find the trail, and then we're going to start rolling onto the trail and see, I don't know, just watch.
Rolling on a river.
How do you like your handles?
Yeah, you're good.
Much better than just holding the camera? I'm annoyed with us. Thank you for joining us. That's the end of this episode. We finally made our destination. We are here. We are here to see this waterfall. But before we go to see the waterfall, we have a couple other places to visit because it's a trail. So there's like 3 or 4 different rushing rapids of nasty water that you can go and check out. And you can bet your silly little ass that we're going to check out every single little bit of it. Man of a few words.
Yep.